What are people from Anambra known for? Business, traders, money, right? What about Lagos people? Money, hustlers, chaos, party people. Okay, what about Nwiboko Obodo people? What are they known for? That question alone, it has caused problems for years because once you say that village name, you don't get a normal answer. You get stories, you get warnings, you get that look. And most of the time, nobody even knows what part is true. Nwiboko Obodo is a small village in Izi in Ebonyi State. They've got farmers, families, markets, just normal life. But the name has been heavy for a very long time and it didn't start online. It started decades ago with one man. Back in the 1950s, right, the traditional ruler of that area was called Nwiboko Obodo. So people hear that name and they think it's just a village, but it was also a person, a very powerful man. He controlled several villages around Abakaliki and he didn't rule like a normal chief. There was a secret group that was linked to his authority. They were known as the Odozi Obodo Society. On paper, it was meant to maintain order, but in reality, it became a system of punishment. Inside that group, there was a smaller unit responsible for carrying out orders. They called it execute. Is a local version of the word execute. So when the chief gave an order, execute made sure it happened. People who refused to pay fines, people who challenged his authority, people who tried to oppose him politically. Some were taken, some were strangled, killed. They were disposed of in rivers. This was not random violence, it was control. For years, nothing happened because nobody could touch him. What finally broke everything, it wasn't rumors or gossip, it was his own home. His wife disappeared. She didn't die publicly, she didn't leave, she was just gone. So her brother reported her missing to the police. That report, it forced officers to go and search Obodo's compound. That search, it changed everything. They found ropes, they found chains, they found weapons, they found charms for ordering obedience, and then witnesses finally started coming forward. They were testifying about how people were tied up and killed just because the chief said so. Investigators also concluded that his missing wife was one of the victims and she was never seen again. He was arrested, he was tried, and he wasn't tried alone. Dozens of members of his cult were convicted alongside with him. It wasn't just one man, it was a whole system, okay? Then in 1959, Nwiboko Obodo was hanged for murder. Many of his followers they were also sentenced to death. So the cult was dismantled and the killings stopped. What happened in those days, it wasn't ritual killings, but that's not how it's remembered now. This is where the story splits, okay? So while court records describe violence, executions, many people from Izzy, they remember him very differently. To them, he was not a monster, he was a strong leader, somebody who kept order in the villages, somebody that outsiders feared. And there's another layer to that memory, right? So many people believe that the same colonial system that once worked with him, they later decided that he had become too powerful. So when he was arrested and executed, they didn't see justice. They saw a leader being brought down. That belief is a big reason why decades later, some people still speak about him with a lot of respect. Years went by. New people were born. New houses were built. The cult was gone. But that name, it stayed. Then in 2013, something happened that dragged old fears back to the surface. A young woman was found dead in Ebonyi State. She was decapitated and her head was missing. Parts of her body were also gone. The police called it a ritual killing. A suspect related to her fled. Others were arrested. That case was real, okay? Once the word ritual entered the conversation, people started looking for who to blame, a place to fear. Then the old name resurfaced again, Nwiboko Obodo. From there, rumors took over. By 2016 and 2017, social media was full of it. Voice notes, Facebook posts, warnings, bodies being found, organs being taken. See, stories traveled faster than facts. But here's what most people don't know, right? The police never confirmed a ritual killing operation in Nwiboko Obodo. No bodies, no arrests, no evidence. What existed was fear and rumors. And in nearby communities, that fear turned into accusations. Old men were labeled wizards or witches. One was beaten and dragged through his village before police had to intervene. So when people talk about ritual killings in that area, they're often talking about a mixture of things. A real history of violence from the 1950s, a few real crimes that happened decades later, and a lot of rumors that filled in the gaps, okay? And once a place has a reputation, people don't need proof anymore. People from Nwiboko Obodo, they say when they mention where they are from, the mood changes. Sometimes people joke about it, sometimes people go quiet, people assume things. But most of them, they were born long after the cult was gone. They didn't choose that history, but they inherited the name. Today, Nwiboko Obodo is just a village. Farming, markets, families, normal life. But in conversation and online, it still carries something heavier than that. Oh, yes, and then in 2026, the Ebonyi State government announced a posthumous pardon for the late chief, more than 60 years after his execution. They said it was for reconciliation to close old wounds. That alone, it tells you how long this story has lasted. It has refused to go away. So when you hear Nwiboko Obodo, you're not just hearing about a place, you're hearing about a past that can outlive new generations. How a reputation can stick even when you have gone past it. Reputations just don't go away. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy stories like this, please don't forget to follow me. I tell these stories all the time on all my social media. Also, if you'd like to listen to me while you're doing chores or something, you can go to my Spotify. That's just audio. All my episodes are on Spotify as well. Yeah, so you can just listen to my voice while you drive or while you're cleaning the house or something if you want. Thank you so much.